we'll start with these same couple. Now I'm in the process of reorganizing this, so it's a little bit messed up, but let me just show you this too, how, remember I was just showing you that these two very similar facial forms, and it's almost, I just, with the big like horn projection on the forehead is just a very cool, and I mean, it's unique. And then of course we look at this guy. Well, of course, this stone is all really high-grade flint, or chert, from kind of local quarries here. But both of these are found within a few hundred yards of each other. I just thought the similarity of these two facial forms is just amazing. And again, the eye, this is actually a little hole right here with a little divot in there to make a better eye. And then this guy has this crystal, quartz crystal in the flint, which would be an inclusion in the flint, and they've highlighted it and used it. But then let's look at this guy real quick. Just like, this is more like the like agitated saber-toothed cat with his fang out, and here's the feline kind of like an eye, and that's sort of the orientation you hold him in for the cat form. And then if we turn him over, you have a human facial form, very stylized, kind of psychedelic face. Here's nose, mouth, chin, and eye looking this way. And then if we turn that around, it continues to the other side, and it's another kind of stylized human face looking this way. And then you've got this kind of cat form here, again with the eye, and the fang works in that way. But this is one of the finer pieces, and this shows real archaeology that's provable, where you can see there's been direct and indirect percussion and a little bit of pressure flaking. These are negative flake scars, just like on arrowheads. So they've reduced it to bring down peaks and stuff to make it look more smooth. The eye is actually a polished, very smooth, very polished, from putting sand on there and water or spit and just polishing it till you got the eye. They find these characteristics and then work with it. Very talented sculptors. But if you look, there's just morphing into many different faces and stuff as you move it around. So that one's really, really cool. And then these are all, I'm in the process of moving them. So what we have here, this is a table of big cats. So here's his ear, here's his fang representation down here, and here's his eye. But as you hold them and move it and animate it, you can just see them almost come to life as you hold it properly. And then you have on this, which is a perfect handle if you notice over here. And then if you look here, there's a kind of a human face representation. Let's look at this side and see the tiger striping. You have all that same stuff going on, but then he's got these quartz inclusions that turn it in. And of course, here's another handle to hold it. And then you can do the same thing, like animate it. But a lot of them show this tiger-like striping. So I'm wondering, if they're worried about the accurate representation. See how the stripes all continue? That's a really fine piece. Here's another, see, where is that guy? Here's a really fun one. I showed you some other creatures in this orange quartz, but this guy's, again, really stylized, and they didn't brutalize the quartz very much. But he's a cat looking this way, and then, but sort of not in a real agitated state. And then when you turn him this way, it brings out, they're using the texture and the gnarliness of the stone to show more like a cat that's agitated with its fur out and it's ready to attack. As well as if you turn it like this, then you start to get another, I don't know if that's bear, more looking like bear, mouth, nose, and an eye, and here's him looking this way. It's very much like a bear, kind of. And then if you flip him this way, the wolf dog starts with the fang becomes an ear. And if you look at the polish and the patina on these, I mean, they are ancient and they are quality. That's good sculptural work, abstraction, just everything in good sculpture. here's a fantastic white quartz cat with all the sparkling, just unbelievable quartz. Again, really high grade quartz. If you see the eye here and the ear, and here's his teeth, you can even, a lot of them even will use a piece of the quartz to show an actual fang or mouth, different line, different ways. Now watch this guy when he turns, so this cat is on this side. When we turn it around, and this becomes the eye, this ear and his mouth, and it's a whole different cat. So this is two-sided, which again, nature, very unlikely that nature at these quality levels, you know, sculptural, almost anatomical correctness in a way. It's very unlikely that nature's just, and look, see the handle grip. I can just, as a shaman, I could dance around and show that, you know what I mean, and energize it. Here's another white quartz piece that has both human zoomorphism, where he's part, it's, you know, this is like big cat god. If you look at the skeleton of this, or the skull of this Smilodon, a lot of these represent this creature. Big top-line predator. See the one next to it? Look at that feline eye and fang and ear, elongated skull. So that's what a lot of these are. And then this guy also has that human face going on. Very, very cool piece. Yeah, let's look at these fossils right here. Let me bring a couple over. Let's look at these real quick, and I'll show you these guys and this one.
And then we'll go in that room, your other room, and show them what you got in that other room.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's look at these real quick. So these all came from the property here. These are cephalopods, spiral. So like the ancestors of octopuses and squids lived in these shells back in the Ordovician. So this guy is just laying up there on the hill with his fossil. And of course, this side is just the native
what a rock looks
dolomite limestone. Right, exactly. And then he just comes alive. I mean, and if you look, this mouth line, these are working as teeth. The cephalopod spiral. But here they are in a more practical, in the more mobulary form. So you can almost see a human face kind of looking to the right where the cephalopod spiral is the eye. And if you look carefully, there is tool work all around these fossils to expose it, to use it in the art form, which is not, again, something that nature just randomly does. See this? Here's another zoomorphic. Yeah, hold that one. And then there's a lot of American lion imagery. And so this gnarly is like a mane. This is the face. There's his eye. So this is, you know, whatever spiritual look on a lion. And then the other side is really, really wild and crazy too. So that's the creative use of fossils in your art. Here's another one. Beautiful cephalopod spiral. And I'm not sure who this is really, you know, trying to represent, if anything, but they definitely did tool work again. There's removal of the flint material to expose the fossil for effect. And then it does sit like this on a flat side. So I'm just, you know, who knows what it's representing to those cultures. It's been a long time ago. Now here's another really, really cool piece. And this is all really high quality flint again. See the red showing? But here is a excellent human face. See the eye? And there's that human face. And then if we turn him like this, again, he's another big cat with the teeth showing, and just mane, again, possibly American male lion with the gnarly mane is a real characteristic thing, and we can see hundreds of them if we want to. But and then if you turn him this way, it represents sort of like the rhinos, of course. There's Protoceras. That was a small two-horned rhino around here, and so that's kind of inconclusive. But this guy is just too cool, and you can see how this was cut to try to remove big pieces of flint to make spear heads or dart heads and tools and knives. And so that's a flint piece. And yeah, we looked at those. Now this one here is the one I was showing you before. This is a chert nodule. So out of that limestone, this is laying in there in layers as a nodule that was formed in the ancient lake bed somehow with silicon getting trapped and then forming chert or flint, very, very hard material in the limestone. And you can see removals have been done around here. And I found it in an archaeological area, and I'm thinking, what the heck? And then I just touched it, and this just fell apart, which is a beautiful, it's already a preformed spear point, almost. But then nobody went further and tried to pressure flake it or anything, and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the beautifulness of this, and you can see where it was struck. To get this to come off, you would hit it here to pop that, and this would let it go. And then if you look here, the stylized bear of this eye, nose, mouth, bear, possible wolf or whatever, but really, really, really interesting. And nobody finds this shit, seemingly, except for me. But that's from a chert nodule, and this was laying in about maybe 2 inches in the soil. Because on these hills and these knobs, there's no deposition. There's no stratified layers. In the last 10,000 years, with leaf drop and the trees used, there is no additional soil adding, like in a prairie situation or a floodplain. So this stuff is not buried tremendously deep. And then let's turn this light on over here real quick. There's a ceiling light and a light there that this cord has been stolen from. Here it is. Hang on just 1 second. Here it is. Okay, so just looking at this area over here, all of this material right here is from Vermont proper. All of it is from jobs. And what I call this stuff is construction rescues. And if you look, we haven't shown any, proboscidean or elephant type forms yet, but if you look just over here, you'll see a bunch of that. You'll see those same cat-like forms in here. There's a wolf, a big flat profile of a wolf with the ear up and a little one next to it looking towards it. But all this material right here is from Vermont. Then this is all from jobs it's all flint and white quartz and high silica materials. It's all tools, lots of hammerstones, lots of knives. And I don't keep arrow points and things like that out here and mix it with this because they're really, besides the art of the tool and the aerodynamics, they don't have much in the way of art in them as far as this kind of representational art. But see this creature here, where this removal has been done to emphasize an eye. And then he's a big predator, probably again that lion. And then he's also a big cat looking towards me this way. And then if we turn him over, there's this big natural depression that's probably been worked that could be like a paint pot or mixing pigments. But again, it works. The whole creature is again represented, even though there's the big hole here, which is very common. The art continues right through the voids or inclusions or whatever. That's another really interesting piece. This one has gold in it, if you believe that. See the really highly glittery, the real glitter areas? And then in here where the eyes are, it's hard to see, but some of these flakes and the bigger chunks, if you take a pin and poke at it, it puts indents in real gold that's in this one. So that's a very interesting. So, and this side's different.
All right, John. So we made this for you so we can get your ass here in Tennessee, you and your family, your beautiful wife and wife.
Absolutely. Love to meet you. You're more than welcome.
Your wife,
to come
Sam, and your daughter, Indigo, and make a documentary of this man right here. He's Brad Hartley. So
look at this one too, showing that on the way out. It's that same piece with the eye, nose, and just a different form using the same polymorph. See the gold? There it is. See it?
Yeah, I see they go right there. Yeah, definitely
See
right
it?
there. Yeah, yeah.
White quartz is